I think like in my mind now, I've gotten a little older. I think like I always celebrate mothers on their birthday because like we really ain't do nothing on our birthday. Like on
right,
the
it's
actual
like she
birthday.
did the work, right?
She did everything.
She did
you know
work.
what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? Like you really just was
came
like,
out
right. You was like, oh, but she was actually like
doing the
she
work.
made that and she made it manifest. So like you're a manifestation of your father and your mother's thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So and she made that manifest, they made that manifest, so like it'd be like a thing like, you know, on your birthday, celebrate your parents, celebrate
nothing wrong with that.
Celebrate our ancestors on our birthday.
Nothing wrong with that.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
That further.
I agree. And that's just going deeper with it. But the point is, have some type of little celebration because it's special. Think about it. Think about being a spermite from the testicles of your daddy. That's all of us in here. You are a spermite from the testicles of your father. That thing got spewed into your mom's womb, connected with an egg, and here we are. Do you know how many spermites came when that happened? Millions. Not thousands, millions. Actually were ejected into your mama's womb. And only one out of those millions. That's everybody in the room. We're the one out of the millions.
Hashtag I'm the survivor.
I'm what?
Hashtag I'm the survivor.
I'm the survivor. Right, because all the other little spermites, as they raced toward that egg, they got knocked off, they got waylaid. They fell off, they got stuck, they got jammed up. Everybody was running for that egg. Everybody wanted to be the ticket winner. They wanted the golden ticket. And the person that got the golden ticket is everybody in this room. Every person born on the planet Earth who has been born and will be born is a very, very, very special person. And that's why you have to be very careful how you treat Allah's creature, because Allah made sure that that particular little spermite was able to reach that age, make that combination to be that human being. So if that person was born with two heads, or they were born stuck together, like Siamese twins, or one leg, or whole, but had some type of mental problem, or born with some type of sexual dysfunction, like now we're dealing with, you know, people who are born transgender or gay. You gotta have mercy on these people, man. People come to this life with all types of different things going on with them. But Allah allowed that person to come here. Regardless of what you feel or what we think, Allah allowed that one out of millions to make it through that process. And that's everybody that we're looking at, everybody on the planet Earth, okay? So we have to have a certain kind of mercy. And as the brother said, if you want to celebrate your parents or the ancestors, then you should. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I would say do some kind of celebration. You were saying something, Lon? Did you mention that?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Bismillah.
Because I think the Sunni Salafis, like they say, no, we don't celebrate birthdays and this type of thing. They almost go to say that it's haram, that we shouldn't. Right. That it's against Islamic law to celebrate birthdays. Yes. I think that's the point I think that she was coming from an Islamic point of view. Yeah. Because we've been told that in Islam, like, hey,
right, you should kind of cut that out. So so what he's doing is he's refocusing what I said, because I was kind of dealing with it culturally, and I went back and I referenced some of the Islamic personalities prior to us stepping into what we have today, right? And so what he's saying, no, refocus what you're saying. Look at it from the angle that maybe some people who are saying Islamically that it's haram, right? Go reference it back to the book, reference it back to the messenger. So now, to reference it back to the book, which I did kind of deal with in the sense that Islamic law doesn't have anything in Islamic law to say you cannot celebrate birthdays. So the way Islamic law works, and the way it should work, dear brother, is that you go to the Quran and you go to the Sunnah of the messenger, and you kind of look for anything that's saying that you can't do something that you want to do. Or if there's something in your culture that we practice, you got to look at the book and the Sunnah to purify what it is you're doing, right? So that has to be your eyeglasses. So in other words, these are the book and the Sunnah, right? I am who I am, as Aqil. So when I put these on, now I see the world through my Islamic lenses. So that's what the brother said. Take them birthdays through the Islamic lens. And so what I'm saying is when you take birthdays through the Islamic lens, there's not one verse in the Quran, There's not nothing that we have in Hadith material that says explicitly, do not celebrate birthdays. Okay, so number one, to make something haram in Islam, it has to be explicit to make it haram. Not necessarily what they call makruh. Makruh means that that thing that you're looking at and you're dealing with might be something that's like, I'm not really sure. It's reprehensible. It could be reprehensible. Even certain things that may not be reprehensible, but it could be reprehensible, you know? For instance, well, we got children, so I won't use that example. But the examples of things that you can do or that we engage in that in one culture might be very reprehensible, but in another culture it's not, right? So what do you do with that? So how do I know if it's not absolutely haram or absolutely halal? How would now I negotiate that if in my culture it's okay, but in another culture it's reprehensible?
Bosnians drink vodka.
Right. Or the tattoos again. In some cultures around the world, tattooing is absolutely reprehensible. Right? And in other cultures, like our culture, it's not. So if it comes down to somebody saying something about tattoos, then I have to kind of look at the culture, extract principles now from the Quran. Now I got to extract a principle, or from the Hadith, I got to extract a principle, again through these glasses to see if it's haram, halal, reprehensible, what is it? So to answer the brother's question, when you put on the eyeglasses, we have nothing from Quran or Hadith that say you cannot have a birthday.
Because like, Akika is basically a birth celebration.
Correct. Right. And not only that, you have an ayah from the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the birth of Prophet Jesus, on him be peace. And in that verse it says that I will be celebrated the day I was born. Peace be upon me the day I was born, and peace be upon me the day I died. Alright? So the fact that that verse is saying Assalamu alaikum, Prophet Jesus, on the day you were born. That's a big indication right there that Allah is not mixing our birthdays. Because if he didn't care for birthdays, or Allah was saying not to celebrate birthdays, then that verse wouldn't be there. That would be like mute. Why would he say Assalamu alaikum, Jesus, on your birthday? Why? So that's an indication that we can celebrate birthdays. Alright, the fact that Allah gives Jesus salams on his birthday.
So what the Salafis talking about?
Yeah, man. Hey, that's that stuff to the left. That's why we here in this room. And we ain't down the street in that mosque.
That's that
literalism. You got to be careful about
that. That's that literalism. Not all Sunnis feel like that.
No. Right. That's just them. Yeah. That's just them. Yeah. Any other questions or anything?
I have another one, sorry.
So no, ain't nothing to be sorry about it. Alhamdulillah, bring them up.
Alright, so in regards to culture, right?
Yes.
And I know you're saying that we will learn everything that, and I know you say we're going to try to put together a calendar to make sure we're celebrating certain Islamic. Now, how do you tie in the Islamic piece and versus like our history, right? So as black people, Africans, I think a lot of us have been, the whole concept of celebrating us as a people, we leave aside.
Yes.
And in Islam we come, and I feel as though I'm celebrating Islamic culture than the religion itself.
Correct.
And so, do you have or do you know how we are able
to negotiate that?
Yes.
Okay, so what Pam is dealing with right now, we actually have an Islamic conference that's coming to town. I think I mentioned it. It's coming in April. And in that Islamic conference, they actually deal with that, Sister Pam. If you can go, you should.
Okay.
It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you can't make all 3 days, you just make the one.
It's in Atlanta?
It's going to be in Atlanta. And Muslims are coming from all over.
Is that the Muslim conference?
Yes. It's called the Black American Muslim Conference.
I think I saw it.
Yeah, it's on Facebook. Yeah. So this conference is dealing with issues like that.
Okay.
But to answer your question, first of all, to be Muslim does not mean that you kill your culture. That was a kind of like an ideal in the past. Ideal that kind of swept through, I guess you can say, America, and particularly Black Muslim America. And I saw a lot of Muslims kind of rejecting the culture. And they were going into what they understood to be Islamic culture. They wouldn't even put on clothes like I got on now, right? Yeah. They would put on the Arabic-looking clothes or African clothes. And you see that amongst us now. You see that amongst a lot of our, Sufi brothers. You see that amongst a lot of the Salafi brothers. They would dress like the people that come from the other cultures. That's not Islam. That's a cultural expression that comes out of Islamic peoples or Muslim peoples. But that's not Islam. It's just not. All right? We can keep our clothes on so long as your clothes stick to whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing Islamically. It covers you properly, then you can rock it. So when I look at everybody in this room, basically everybody in this room is already dressed like a Muslim. Right? Little things might be tightened up, but basically, we already dressed like Muslims. This is it. This is the Islamic, Black American Islamic culture. This is what it is. Another thing about that is, yes, Islam does not tell you to throw your culture in the garbage. Islam purifies the culture. All right, so when you, again, I am who I am. Before I became a Muslim, I was this person right here that you're looking at, right? So now, this is my Islam now, and my Sunnah. I put these on now. Now, I'm a Black American Muslim. And I see the world through my Islamic lenses. So when I see something in my culture that needs to be, dealt with, I deal with it. For instance, I love music. So everybody who know me know that boy love that music. All right? So now, how do I negotiate Marvin Gaye? Do I say now I should listen to any Marvin Gaye? I throw Prince and Michael Jackson all the way out the window? Or, I don't mess with R. Kelly. Never mess with R. Kelly. I never mess with R. Kelly. I mess with Michael. They got some ugly stuff out there on Michael Jackson right now. Michael's my man. And it's hard for me to believe that if it's true. But, people can do anything. So ain't no sense in saying that he ain't do it. But, they don't have any evidence that he did that. This is just two white boys crying saying that this is what happened. And that we know how white people lie. So we got to be very careful about picking up what they say. Because these are lying people. And this thing is about money. So it's a lot of things going on with that thing with Michael Jackson. That's very, it's kind of funny. Right. But Michael Jackson, they went through his life with a fine tooth comb when he was alive. Looking to jam that brother up in his lifetime. And they couldn't. The man is dead now. Collapse. That's done. All right? So let these two white boys cry and get every little piece of money they can get or whatever it is they're trying to do. And if they're justified in their claim, Allah knows the best, and I hope they get the money if they're justified. And if these two white boys are sitting up there lying because they're trying to get money, I hope Allah also give them the money, and they start spending it, and they choke on it, and they kill them. That's what I hope happened to them. All right, now in reference to what the sister saying, going back to me, I love music. So it's right, yeah, I know, I know I'm killing, but but I do. I hope every dollar they get, they buy something, man, and they just destroy their lives with it. Every dollar they get. And I negotiated by saying, I can't sit up here and listen to music Marvin Gaye talking about sleeping with some man's wife. So I had to say, man, I sure love that song, but I gotta watch, I can't let that penetrate into my Islamic, my psyche now as a Muslim, because that can hurt my nature as a Muslim nature, right? I don't want to sing songs off my lips when I'm talking about having sex with a man's wife. So now I gotta let them kind of songs go, right? And I got to pick up the songs that deal in the beauty of being human. The beauty of showing love between a man and his wife. A beauty of the song he talked about his children. I want to be where you are. That's a beautiful song. He's talking about his kids. Why wouldn't I sing that song? A black man saying he want to be where his kids are. He and his wife had a divorce. And here's this multi-millionaire singing in a song to let his children know, me and your mom may not be together, and wherever she take you, I want to be where you are. Man, that song make me cry when I listen to it. If you know what it's about. If you know what it's really about. It's a man telling his kids, whatever go down, I want to be where y'all are. That's a beautiful song. Why wouldn't I sing that? Right? That's like a nasheed. That's just like singing in a song of nasheed. But the other stuff that I listen to, some of that hard rap, some of that stuff, I gotta drop my NWA. I can't do NWA no more. Unless they doing F the Police, I can do that one. Outside of F the Police. What else I got with NWA? Gotta drop it. Okay? And lastly, Sister Pam, I heard a beautiful sociologist who's a Muslim sister say, it was absolutely beautiful. Culture is not something that's frozen or something that's static and sits on the wall like that clock, right? That's not culture. Culture is always evolving, it's always moving, it's fluid. Culture is always changing, it's going back and forth, right? So think about us already doing the culture. This is what the sister pointed out. We're doing the culture. So when I walk in this room, look what we eating. White folks don't eat like that. There ain't no Indian eat like that. This black people food here. right? I look at the sisters, I look at the way y'all dress, and look at the brothers, the way we dress. Everything in here tell me that these are black folks, right? So this is the Islamic culture. This is it. You live in it. You looking at it. Look at your hairstyle. Look at your clothes. Look how we look. Look how we sitting. Look how the place looks. Like what masjid you walk in, and the masjid looks like this anywhere around here. That's an immigrant masjid. It don't even look like it. This look like us, right? So this is the culture, Pam. So you actually live in the culture, all right? Any other questions? Bismillah.
Crystals. Have you ever seen people have crystals and like put them under their pillows and stuff?
That is.
No.
Same thing.
But what power does it have?
Yes, the Imam spoke about that, but Holy Prophet Muhammad, on him be peace and God. That's no serious. Spoke about that. Things affect you. So we have to, that's another thing. See, we done got so white man that we think that that's, see, brother laughing. It's because that's the white man. See, he don't realize he's possessed. He's possessed, that's why he's laughing. Because but he gonna learn. He gonna learn today. He gonna learn today. Right? So the fact, this is the deal, man. We have a hadith from your prophet, Aqil, that says that's true.
Says what's true?
What you just said, that them crystals and things affect you.
All right. How?
Yes. Okay. We got a hadith to deal with it. It deals with the specifics of how it affects you. All right. So that's why I wear this. I don't wear this because it's cute. I wear this because when I was in Iran, one of the ayatollahs told me this thing had power. He said, brother, this thing got much power, more power than the other ring I had on, which I was wearing for protection.
And what ring is it? And what is that?
So I forgot the name of it, but what it does?
No,
Yes, it's clear. What is it called?
Clear quartz. That clear ring is called a najafi.
Yeah, najafi. It's a najafi, and it has.
It comes from najaf.
Right, and it has a power. So all crystals and those types of things, they do have, we believe, all right, as Muslim peoples, because it comes from our prophet, and it comes from his family members, that stones, crystals, and these things do have an effect on you. Whatever it is, slightly or greatly, they affect your life. All right, they can have an effect on you.
Just
the
like
same way.
therapy.
Thank you. You took it
like
right
I burned
out
it in
of
my house because
out.
it keeps my kids kind of.
Yes, she took it right out of my mouth. Okay. Why do you think religious people burn incense inside of religious gatherings?
It smells good.
Not because it smells good, because it has that calming effect. Because it makes it pleasant. So when you walk inside of your place of religion, it's sweet to you, and you have good memories of it. You got the sweet smell of it, and not the opposite. When you go into your place of religion, you know it smell old, it smell bad or foul. You go inside, the people are acting bad and foul. So that's what it's about. It's about creating the atmosphere of the conduciveness for worship. Now, as far as the effects of it, then we would have to go back to the Prophet Muhammad and what it is that the Ai said about it, because they have spoken about it and they speak clearly on the effects that it has on you.
Because my thing is this, is that, you know, if for it to have any type of power or for it to affect you, then it has to emit or it has to give off emissions.
Yes.
Right? But they don't.
We don't know that. So now from the face of it, they do. The Prophet is saying they do. All right, he's saying that they do have these types of emissions. Now, is the emission something that you can catch with the five senses? Is what we're dealing with. Now, I think that's what you're going to do.
But like an own reader, or what is it called?
But that's still within the five senses. So you're talking about things that can affect you,
like something that detects electricity.
Yeah,
or something that
you're saying the same thing. You're talking about the things that are material things that fall in the material realm. I get you. So what I'm saying to you is that the Prophet Muhammad on him BP said we have forces that are around us that are not material like that. They don't catch you. Your five senses can't catch it, right? It's beyond your five senses. And like the jinn or the angels.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Actually, it's not beyond the five senses what he's talking about. It's actual. So if you go down to he called it Najafi. Okay, I don't know what type of stone this is, but so everything in life is in motion. You understand that, right? All the way down to
molecules,
electrons,
right,
protons, neutrons, everything.
Right.
Mostly, every element in the outside world is inside of you already. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, magnesium, potassium, all of these things. So these things are in motion at constant time. Even like you're tying geology or as far as the stones, but also astrology, because we understand that these things are just rocks. These things are just masses of just masses of matter. They're masses of matter in motion. So it's a constant orbit. It's a constant orbit of molecules and matter. So exactly. So it's constantly pulling on you in some type of way. So if you know something has a gravity to it, it's pulling you in some type of way at all times. So like this youngin here, when he moves, people look at him. They're looking at what he's doing. He has a gravity. He has a certain type of effect on the room. And you're talking about ambiances and smells. These are also molecules vibrating in the air, making your electrical impulses in your nose.
Olfactory lobes, right?
Exactly.
And you respond to it.
And you respond to
pleasure, pain, all that he just said is true. So what I was going to do, I wasn't going to attack it from that position, but alhamdulillah, that was perfectly put, right? But I'm saying even beyond the 5 senses, we know that stuff affects us, right? So we have a hadith from our prophet, on him be peace, that says what the brother's saying, which is why I said look up what the stone does, because the prophet is basically saying what the young brother here said, Brother Aubrey. But I'm going even beyond that. Outside of the physicality of the human being, right, of being a part of the ard, right? The Arabic word ard means things that are earthly and of the earth, things that are terrestrial, and it has something to do with matter. We know, because we're Muslims, that there's a world outside of the world of matter. All right, there's what we call an angelic world, or what's the terrestrial celestial world. So there's also a celestial world where the jinn reside, the angels reside, and things of that nature reside, right? So they have an effect on us. So when the Quran speaks, or the other holy books speak, it's talking about even that world and how that world can affect us. So it's in that way that we respect it. Now, how do you negotiate that as an individual? Yeah, it's something that you have to ponder on, because of course for the material mind, which is the mind that the masters gave us, the material mind is saying, I can't mess with that. That don't sound right. Because we are materialists. And we have to understand that we are born in just the same way we were taught that God is white, the angels are white, Jesus is white. That same teaching that comes from these people that tell us to rely so heavily on the material world, like that teaching, we have to be very careful about, because that's not the Islamic teaching, right? That teaching is opposed to the Islamic worldview, which says that we believe in terrestrial and we believe in celestial. And those two worlds are clashing and colliding and dealing with each other all the time. All right? So when you are able to do something, say miraculous, like they always talk about, like people, one of the ways they express the angelic world, all right, or the celestial world. They'll say, well, a car, they always use this example. A car topples over and it falls on top of a child, or it falls on top of a loved one. And this mother, she gets out of her car, takes the seatbelt off, and she's able to lift the car off of her young one. This has happened a couple of times. A man fell from a cliff with his wife. They were out here in America, and they were walking on one of these hills. He fell off the cliff, and as he fell, the rock or whatever he was standing on, it came over too. So he fell down, boom. And not only did he fall down, now the rock comes down, boom, and it just crushes his legs to pieces. Well, while that man was down there, his wife ran down there, and that woman got up under that rock and got that rock up off her husband. All right, so these types of things. Now, did she do that? Or did she have help from a celestial being? Did a jinn or an angel accompany her and help her get that off? All right, so we have many examples as people who are believers, that celestial realm would step in, because Allah just said it's not your time. So anything that incidental happens, then Allah will send your help. Now, anytime people die, this is not your day. Your death date has been scheduled for September 12th, 2051. Right? Yeah, that's right. Push it back. Push it back. Right. But so today, this is incidental. accidental. Right. I didn't plan for you to die today. This is not a part of my divine plan for you to leave out here today. So that angel's right there to help that woman push that rock right off of that man. So that's all I was saying to Brother Hamza. Like,
I always believed in all of that stuff.
Right.
When I think they were maybe like about 1 and 2, I got hit by a truck. I was driving a van and I got hit by a Ram, big old Ram truck. It was during the month of Ramadan, and the truck hit us so bad. Like, you know how you see things and everything go, I saw everything. People was rushing because they thought we was dead.
Yeah,
we wasn't bleeding. Only thing I had was a sprained arm. Right. The kids was fine. They was in car seats. They were fine, and people could not believe that we were not dead. My car was total. Right. Crushed total.
That's right.
And
yeah, how do I explain that? So the thing, and that happens all day long, all the time. Yeah. You see these things happen, and you know that person should be dead. You know it. Like, you see what happened. You saw the viciousness or the ferocity of how that truck hit that car. And you know that these kids, your neck should be broke and everything, right? Now, I'm going to reverse it to show you how we have to not only believe in the terrestrial, but also the celestial. Now, a man I know that I used to cut years ago, the Ethiopian brother. Now, he's coming out of his driveway. He's taking your same story. Backing out, easting out, kind of looking both ways as he come out of his driveway. One of his neighbors came in, drunk from the night. So as this Ethiopian brother was going to his job, the drunk guy was coming in from whatever pub or club. And so the wife is sitting there watching. She's watching the husband, because she's the one telling me the story. How he was in the car, because she was sitting there saying bye to him from the screen door. He was easing out, easing out, easing out. Here go the drunk man. He saw the drunk man. Okay, I see you. You know, so he stopped to let the drunk man go by. But the drunk man stopped. You know, you start doing that dumb thing, you know. Yeah. You go. No, you go. No, you go. You go. You know, you do that. So they doing that. And you go get him, right? And so the Ethiopian brother just decided, okay, well, let me come on out. And the drunk guy decided, okay, I'm going to go. And then he just tapped him. Boom. The wife said it was nothing but a tap or kill. Just a block. Just a tap. My husband was in there dead, she said. It killed him. And you know why he died? The doctor said, just because he was like this, looking back, and going, easing back, and waiting for this guy, the way his neck was positioned, all it took was the tap from that car. Because of the way his neck was, the way he had it, it broke his neck. And that was it. Collapsed. It killed him right there. The man died. And she said it was the damnedest thing because it was just a tap. And she witnessed it. She said, I'm telling you, I saw it. It looked like nothing. And she said, I was wondering why my husband wouldn't go. And the guy's wondering, well, man, get out of the way, you know? What you stopping for? He was there dead. Just like that. Collapsed. A healthy man. So that's why you got to see that this world is just, it's just like, you know, you can't even call it. I mean, we just, wow, subhanAllah, I don't even know how do you explain stuff like that?
Some things we will never be. First, going back to what you initially said, in the Fatiha, Allah says He's Rabbil Alameen, He's the Lord. Rabb is more than Lord, it's coach. He's the Lord, He's the coach of all the world. Everything between this world and not. Everything that we can see, everything we can't see.
After the universe.
After all the universe. But then, in Baqarah, next chapter, it says, when you refer to the believers, those who believe in the seen as well as the unseen.
Right.
A lot of things there's a lot of things we can't comprehend.
Correct.
Everybody in here has probably seen or experienced something. They just don't have
can't put together. Yeah.
December 1995, I remember clearly. 3 times that month, I was pronounced dead.
Right.
Legally. Dead.
Right.
3 times. Went to the hospital. St. Joseph's. St. Joseph's Hospital. I had three asthma attacks. I was dead. According to
legality.
Legal. Right. Because if you check out for more than 6 seconds, I think you're legally considered dead for more than 6 seconds. I came back. I can't explain it. All I know is but God.
Right.
You know. Everybody in here has probably experienced something, whether you had an accident, you fell wrong, something was supposed to
broken.
something was supposed to be broken. know immediately. That's what God, when the brother was talking about the stones, there's entities that we can't perceive.
Right.
And modern technology doesn't have the capability of being able to perceive it.
Correct.
So like with the stones, there's some stones that you can't wear together.
No.
Because if you wear some certain stones together, or if you wear some stones in a certain place, it'll cause a bad inertia.
How do you know this?
The only way you know this, brother, the way I saw it in my mind, Allah says in the Quran, and the messenger, he doesn't speak idle talk.
Come on.
All right? So if Allah says in the Quran that when the messenger speaks, he doesn't speak idle talk, and we can trace it back to the messenger through our hadiths, then if it's coming from the messenger, you can put a check on that. That's a certified check.
Right.
If it's coming directly from the messenger, and there's no problem with the isnad, I believe Brother Aqil went through that a few weeks ago, with the chain of narrators, all of them are good people. They don't have no blemish. Their memories are intact. Might not be like me. Some things I'm pretty sharp at remembering. Some things I might not be so clear on. But when it comes to those ideas, every person in the chain, they got sound memory. If they said the messenger said it, you can put a check on it. So
another way to answer that too is like you won't know, right? So you can even say that there's certain things that we have from the Quran. I know when I read them and I go through it, I'm saying to myself, nah, I got to be another way of understanding it. Where I am in my understanding, I don't grasp that yet, but I give myself some time to get through it, right? Likewise with the Hadith, there are things I've seen the Hadith. You know, we have a Hadith that said that Imam Jafar said that at night that he get on a carpet or some type of mechanism, and he flies through the air, or they walk on the clouds. You know, we have hadith to say that in the same book that we were talking about.
And that's why Jaffar's in the Aladdin movie.
Say again?
They got the Jafar in the Jafar in the Aladdin movie.
Yes, that's where it comes from. Right, that's where it comes from.
Wow.
So
Jafar is evil.
Correct.
In Aladdin.
Right, but they have him on the flying carpet, and that is out of our hadith.
But that's
and walking
Jafar
on
that they actually talking about.
Right, and they say Imam Jafar said himself to his followers that he walks on the clouds at night, right? What does he mean when he say that? Like, is he doing that? Like, is that real? So when I read stuff like that, I have pause. I don't say it's not true. I just say, wait a minute, he's saying something. So hold tight and try to understand what he's saying. They said that Prophet Muhammad went from Mecca to Jerusalem and back. And he did it in the time his sister knocked a glass of water off the table, right? And as the Prophet was talking to one of his relatives, like I'm talking to Khadijah or talking in the room, and I'm looking at Khadijah, the relative said that while they were talking, he said, I saw Muhammad phase out as my sister knocked her drink off the table by mistake. And he said, in the time that the drink was falling, Muhammad was gone. He said, I saw him, he phased out. And he said, when the drink hit the ground, pop, the Prophet came back. And he said, do you know what just happened to me? You know what just happened? And family member said, what? What are you just scaring me? What are you talking about? What just happened? He said, man, I just went to Jerusalem. And I went through the 7 heavens. I met Prophet Jesus, Moses, Abraham. I prayed behind him. I met strangers. I did this, I did that. And the Prophet has this whole story about what would have taken, they said, 3 weeks to a month journey.
That's when you hear all these stories about the realm of time,
right?
And passing
through
different types of realms.
Correct. So the Prophet's telling his family member this, and the man is looking at our Prophet Muhammad, and he's thinking to himself, "Oh my God, I've been following this man, and now this man telling me this. This guy, he's nuts. He lost it." And all this happened from the time the drink fell off the table. So he said that. He said, Messenger of Allah, you know, please don't tell the people this story. Y'all know the story, right?
Yeah.
He said, Messenger of Allah, please don't tell nobody what you just told me. Because if you tell people that, they're going to say you're crazy.
Y'all would do the same thing.
Of course. And that's why the brothers questioning the stone business. Because it don't add up in our material minds. It's nothing wrong with that, though. It's nothing wrong. Because when I catch myself there, and I start questioning, Imam Jafar said, what? And he was on a flying carpet, or what? So Solomon was on a flying carpet? What? Imam Jafar said he walked on the cloud? What are they talking about? So I paused. And I started saying to myself, okay, now, you got to take off your white man mind now. Because you know the white man is materialist. And that's your master. So you don't learn how to be material. So you have to pull back some and say, no, my nature is material and celestial.
Come on, come on.
This is what Allah, the messenger, teaches. All right? So pull back and try to have an understanding of what they're saying. And that's how I deal with the stones. So I don't have anything to offer you except the hadith themselves, right, as regards to how it's supposed to affect you. So I have to be honest with you and say that all I got is the way this became an issue with me is I was in New York. And as I was in New York, brother asked the same question that whoever asked about the stones brought up, right? And when they brought it up, Sheikh Bilal, who's one of our early sheikhs that got educated amongst the blacks, he started to break it down, and he actually went and got the book. And he started to read the hadith. And so then I said, oh, so it does come from the Prophet. So the Prophet did say this. So then I said, well, I'm just going to relax this for a while because I can't figure this out.
Because I've seen people wear those Aqil stones.
Yeah. For protection.
And they're different colors and, you know what I mean? So they're different stones that people are wearing for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So I've seen that.
Right.
But in my mind, I can't see how this would affect your biology if it's not emitting any type of...
But that's that material mind.
There you go.
But you also have a celestial mind.
So then my next thing is this, right? Okay, so my next thing is this, right? As far as, I don't know if you've ever heard of Ifa.
Sure.
Right? And because basically they're saying that there's a one God and then there's multiple gods.
Right.
How they understand basically to be angels.
Right.
In a way. How does, you know, in my mind that's like...
Sure.
Yes.
All right, so for the Muslim, we don't necessarily have to say it's shirk because you can interpret it for them, right? So on the face of it, you can say it's shirk. It's not, we just have one God, right? Ain't no medium gods, right? And just kind of throw it out the window if you want. Or you could be more open-minded and say, wait a minute, hold on. Let me think about what they're saying and then look at my own deen and see if there's some relationship. And there is a relationship. So we say Allah, and then we talk about the angels, or we talk about Allah through His divine attributes. So some of what, if Ifa and some of the other religions, we can interpret it that way. Just don't use their language. You just got to reinterpret what they're saying and say, okay, for Islam, this is how we interpret that information, right? So we say Allah is Ar-Rahman. We also say He's Nir-Rahim. We also say He's Ar-Razak. And we can go right on down to 99 names, right? And each one of those 99 names is an attribute or characteristic that they might be calling a God in Ifa. All right, so we just got to be generous enough, right? So they call them deities. We're not allowed to do that in Islam. Right. So we say no, it's only one Allah, right? And everything else is nothing, right? We say La ilaha illallah. That means there are no gods. There's only Allah. So anything else that somebody's calling a god, then we're going to have to be either open-minded enough and compassionate enough in our souls to say, oh, I understand what they mean. We just don't describe it that way in Islam. That would be shirk for me. However, I do understand what they're saying. They're just talking about, for me, an attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ar-Rahman. That's all they're saying. They're talking about Ar-Razak, the provider. That's all they're saying. They're talking about the God of protection. You know, that's all they're saying.
But it's more closely aligned to the Greek and to the Greek and like the Roman mythology when it, you know, as far as the gods and their attributes.
Sure.
Like a god of thunder or a god of lightning and these type of things.
So we have to correct it with the Islamic lenses. So, right,
very
same thing. So all we're doing as Muslims is we're saying we speak another language. So we're going to put these on, and this is our lens of our language. This is how we talk, right? So we don't accept anything as a God like that. However, we understand.
No. Can you be both?
Can you be both? Well, not really, because in Islam, we're going to say La ilaha illallah. So that strikes down all these other ideals that people have, right? So what La ilaha illallah, what we're saying, or what Islam is saying, is that you should understand that there's only one God, and anything else is a false God. Now, if you want to interpret what the people who are from the other religions, what they're saying, like the ancient Egyptians, or like the ancient Greeks, or like you just mentioned the Ifa, if you can interpret it for yourself and have enough generosity and compassion in your heart to understand that, okay, that's their interpretation of it. I get it. Like, I know what they're saying. But for me, I can't accept that anything is a God outside of Allah. It's only Allah.